What up, guys? Kevin here. It's time to have that uncomfortable conversation. Got to do it. Turn-based combat. Um, you might be on your way out. Nah, I'm kidding. But we do need to talk about style preferences. Games, JRPGs. When people think of JRPGs, even to this day, they think of the Final Fantasy VIIs and just the turn-based combat that does turn a lot of people off. It really does turn a lot of people off, and why I think JRPGs are still pretty damn niche is it's a turnoff. People go, oh, I got to play DVD menu system for the combat. No thanks. Now, personally, I'm someone, I honestly don't care. I really don't care so much about combat. I feel like every game these days that comes out has solid gameplay mechanics to the point where, yeah, your game is really bad if you can't nail down just basic gameplay mechanics in 2024. But yeah, I'm more of a characters guy. What sells me on games are characters. Then story. You get a good story, then of course I'm going to be sold. But story doesn't matter if you have great characters. Look at Tales of Vesperia. Tales of Vesperia is like my favorite Tales of game. What was that story about? Fuck if I know. But yeah, combat and just the gameplay mechanics. I just feel like it's default. I don't want to say it's at the bottom. It's just, it should be default that you have a pretty entertaining combat system in your game. And for me, I can go both ways. I can enjoy turn-based. I can enjoy real-time. But I see people complaining to Games Radar Plus here. Metaphori Fantasio proves Persona 6 should embrace real-time combat. Now, yeah. Like, here's what I think Atlas should do. They should do what they want. If they want to do turn-based, good. They make one of the best, if not the best, turn-based combat systems out there. If they want to do real-time combat because they're bored of doing turn-based, then have at it. I really do like this hybrid system that we got going with Metaphori Fantasio and the later Trails games of, hey, why not both? Which is not really both. They still got to mainly turn-based, but I really do appreciate being able to, like, hey, dude, these enemies are so damn easy. Enemies are so damn easy. Let me just go up and just hit them a few times in real-time combat. Take them out so I can still get items and experience points. I think that's a great middle, because my issue with turn-based combat is it's kind of boring most of the times. I find that most turn-based combat games I do not enjoy unless there's a speed-up option. You got to ask yourself, why does every turn-based game out there require a turn-based system or a speed-up option for their turn-based system? Probably because turn-based combat is boring. For me, I find it meditative. That's why I enjoy it. I find it boring but meditative. And like, I'm playing Metaphori Fantasio and I'm just using the speed up option on enemies already in hard mode. I'm playing on the hardest mode that you can play right now for your first playthrough. And yeah, most of the enemies now, I'm already just putting it on the automatic speed up option. I'm just like pressing R3 and just putting the controller down, taking a whiz, coming back. I'm like, oh, cool. I got a few experience points. Nice. I find turn-based combat, even on the hardest difficulties, really only have to pay attention on the bosses and like usually newer enemies as well too. They're always going to be a little bit higher level. But yeah, that's my issue with turn-based combat. Again, I don't mind it. Most games I play these days are turn-based, but I understand why people look at a system like that and just don't find it captivating. But let's get over to the real-time combat because it's not perfect either. Real-time combat kind of has its own issue as well too, where it's not a good system if I can just run up to enemies and just button mash, Just press, square, X, whatever, just over and over and over and beat it. So it does have its issue there, but I do find it a little bit more engaging. Real-time combat. Again, I don't care either way. I really don't. It's one of the last things I'm really looking at is whether if it's a combat system I agree or don't agree with. But, I understand some people prefer one or the other. And with Persona 6, it's like, dude, we have like 5 other Persona games that are turn-based. Like, if they want to do real-time combat, I say let them. Let them. JRPGs, if you want to go ahead and extend the JRPG genre to like a Dark Souls type deal, well, look at that. They've sold 20 million. Final Fantasy 15 sold a lot. That wasn't turn-based. Final Fantasy 16, we don't know what the sales are, but I got to assume probably around 4 million now. 4 million doesn't sound like a lot, but in terms of JRPGs these days, that's still quite a bit. That's still one of the best-selling JRPGs of all time. At 4 million, just 4 million copies. No other series outside of Final Fantasy really gets that. What, Pokemon? I think it's just Pokemon. Pokemon and Persona. But yeah. So I want Atlus to do whatever they want to do. I don't want them to feel like they have to do real time because they have to do real time, or turn-based because they have to. But I just know what Atlus is passionate about. It shows in their games. And I think Persona 6 is going to show their passion in their combat system with whatever they go with, which is fine. But yeah, being defensive or telling Atlus to stick with turn-based is just silly to me. It's just silly. And I'm somebody that wants Final Fantasy 17 to go back to turn-based because I think it would be a lot of fun. The best-selling Final Fantasy game of all time is Final Fantasy X, which is turn-based. But hey, we've had a string of real-time combat games with Final Fantasy. Like, hey, I think they should. But that's me. I don't know. I feel like I'm on the fence there. I don't like being on the fence, but most important is just the characters, guys. It's just the characters. Stop putting combat gameplay, like head above the rest. It should be default. Combat should be default. Characters should be 1. And a good story, number 2. I would say a good world, a fun world to be in, should be number 3. Combat should be almost last. I would say behind music, maybe not. Music can really help a game out, though. I just think combat should be default, whatever the system is. Like, you ever pick up one of these, like, bargain games, and you go, oh, this game's actually pretty good. That's because the combat's actually pretty good. Because combat should be default. You can't make a game in 2024 and have a bad combat gameplay loop, whatever. All right, well, I'm going in circles here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Later.